Hey guys, how's it going? Yes, it is a little sucky out here. Oh. Yeah, that's ice. So, we're down here in eastern Texas, just loving winter. We are going to collect some water today because our water source, which is the freshwater holding tank, is currently frozen because it's been so dang cold here. Not to mention icy and snowy and cold. Just disgusting. So today I'm going to go over how I collect water, and also, since the storm is basically over-ish, it's not thawed out yet, so we have a little ways to go. But I'm going to give you guys a few lessons that we learned RVing full-time in sub-freezing weather. So stay with me today. It's going to be an interesting one. All right, so we're down here at the river here. This is the Colorado River. She's a beaut. Can't wait to do some fishing here. Supposedly there's some really nice bass in here, and hopefully I can share with you guys a fishing adventure once it warms up. What we have to do is be resourceful, and we are going to filter some water today right down here by the river. And it's basically safe to drink because I'll be using a backpacking filter that my uncle had given me a while back. And nonetheless, we will either send it, if we're going to drink this water, we will send it through our Berkey water filter just to make sure it's extra filtered, but otherwise this is mostly for flushing toilets and doing dishes, things like that. So here we go. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Are there easier ways to do this? I'm sure there are, but that doesn't help me right now because this is all I've got. Let's keep going. Whew. Yeah, so certainly not easy. Is it necessary? Absolutely it is. So we have one jug down, probably, I'd say it's about 6 gallons. And we have one more to do, but first things first, it's cold out here, it's rainy, so I'm gonna go warm up for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna come back down and finish this up. So we've got our water here filtered from the river. As an extra precaution, I like to add just a little bit of bleach. There are a lot of tables out there to tell you how much bleach per water. I believe the CDC has a good reference guide too. So even though this is filtered and it's most likely safe to drink, you have to think about your source of the water. So ours is the Colorado River, and being that it goes through a lot of big cities and it's also a lot of agriculture around, I want to make sure that this is extra safe, especially since G is young and we just want to take that extra precaution. So what we're going to do is open up our tank here. We have roughly 6 gallons. And another thing you need to do is also check to see what the percentage of the sodium hyperchlorate is in your bleach, because that will also dictate how much bleach you actually use. So in our case, I'll be using a 1/4 teaspoon. Doesn't take a whole lot. I'm gonna measure right over here. Alrighty, and in she goes. Okay. And give her a big old shake. Water is disinfected and safe to drink. It's always good to let it settle for maybe about a half an hour or so prior to use, and we should be good to go. Now, it's still a wee bit nippy out here, but we had to get out of the camper and do a little running around, so that's exactly what we're going to do today. Just for a couple minutes. Heck, when you're stuck inside in cold weather, when you're used to being outside, you got to get outside and just enjoy what nature has to offer, which may be a little cold right now, but heck, we're going to have a good time, even if it's just a little running around. Munchie. Look, turkey tracks. Come on. See turkey. Let's follow them. Turkey tracks. Come on, let's go. There. You know, I know G is too young to really know exactly what's going on, but you know, thinking about it now and telling stories about when we survived the Texas ice apocalypse, it's going to be kind of fun to tell her what we lived through and what we experienced. Now there's a lot of people that aren't as fortunate as us, not nearly as blessed. No thank you. Not nearly as blessed, but we've been able to hold our own and make things happen, and we might move on from where we're at sooner than we thought because of water issues, but nonetheless, we're still having a good time, at least where we can. Well, we're finally into warmer weather. This feels so nice. After a week of being in freezing temperatures, it was so miserable, and people in Texas will know exactly what I'm talking about. That now that all the cold weather has gone away and the warmer weather has come in, it's so nice. So, a couple things I wanted to let you guys know about in terms of how we survived that Winter Storm Uri, of course, is what I'm referring to. And the three things, maybe actually four things I want to talk about real quick: propane, electricity, water, obviously water, and insulation. Those are the four reasons how we survived, and not only survived, but survived comfortably, full-time RVing in a camper, a drafty camper nonetheless. So the first thing we'll talk about is propane. The way we prepared for the storm is actually we bought a third propane tank. So we like to switch out three just in case we need a third one. And of course, we ended up needing a third one. It was very difficult to find propane, so having that extra tank really helped us out. The second thing is electricity. Electricity wasn't as important to us because we heat our camper with propane. So being able to have some electricity, whether it be to prepare meals or charge computers, things like that, it was very important to us. We couldn't just hook up to the truck because that just really wasn't practical for us. So what we do is we have a generator that we're able to run everything, more or less everything, comfortably, and also charge our batteries in the camper. Making sure we had an extra tank of gas that was full and ready to go also helped us tremendously. So highly recommend a good generator. Doesn't have to be anything exciting. We have the generator from Harbor Freight and it worked wonderfully. Highly recommend it. So water was the biggest issue for us. I ended up after all of our water sources froze, so our the tap, the spigot at the campground, and our full freshwater tank, after those froze, we were really scrambling to try to figure out how to get water, and not only any water, but of course safe drinking water too. I was very fortunate to have a hiking water filtration system, but as you saw earlier in this video, it takes a lot of time and effort, and you got to treat the water, and you have to think about your water source, and a lot of things to think about there. We also have a Berkey water filter that we use on a daily basis, and that is a wonderful tool. Not only does it give you really clean tasting water, but if you have a questionable water source, it will take the question out of it, because they advertise as being able to take every single last bacteria and all sorts of bad parasites and things out of that water so it's safe for you. That was a must for us, and it paid off for us. They are a little spendy, I must admit, but they were well worth it. And as you may have read in Lisa's blog, we couldn't have done it without it. So a few things to think about with water whenever your water is either frozen or you don't have access to water. The last thing I want to talk about is insulation. These campers have single pane windows. They're extremely drafty. They're not meant to camp in sub-freezing temperatures, but fortunately we were able to get our hands on some window insulation, and basically what it is, it's like bubble wrap with foil on both sides, and it works really well to insulate those single pane windows so you're not losing a ton of heat and you're not going through propane so fast. So I would highly recommend, if you're going to be camping in cooler temperatures, definitely find some. We got some at the Home Depot. It wasn't a big roll, but fortunately we were able to find it, and it worked so well. So those are the four ways, the four biggest ways that we were really able to survive this really monumental, historic storm. And we had a lot of people praying for us. It was really amazing. And my heart goes out to a lot of the people in Texas that are still trying to recover from all the issues with the storm, whether it be electricity or water. And so we consider ourselves very blessed and very fortunate for what we went through. And on top of that, it was a huge confidence boost. We now know that we can handle some really adverse conditions. So just a few things for you to think about if you're going to be heading out and there's a chance that you'll either have sub-freezing temperatures or no electricity or water. So I really appreciate you joining me. It was kind of a different video. Yes, it was an adventure. It wasn't necessarily a fun adventure like we usually do, but nonetheless, we were able to make it through, and we'll be talking about it for years to come. Give us a big thumbs up for surviving that storm, and we'll see you guys on the next adventure.